Hello, hello, it's Bree with BS in the Afternoon on Hits 1055, and I'm here doing a new segment. Our new segment is very exciting because it is with Reptigirl Reptiles. Hello, Crystal from Reptigirl Reptiles. How are you today?
Hello, hello. I am fabulous.
I am so glad that you're here, and I'm so excited to talk about reptiles with you. And so, each week we're going to have you on the show around 4 p.m. On Thursdays. And you'll come in and you're going to teach us everything we need to know, right?
Absolutely.
I'm very excited about that. And so, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about reptiles in general today.
Okay. And so, tell me about some reptiles.
With reptiles, there's actually over 10,000 species of reptiles in the entire world. There's one continent, which I think we all can guess, where you will not find any reptiles at all, and that is Antarctica.
Oh.
It is way, way too cold down there because reptiles typically are found in rainforests and then in the desert.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know this, but snakes, not having any legs, actually used to be considered tetrapods, which means that at one point in time they had 4 legs.
What?
Evolution, baby.
That is so cool. I had no idea.
Yeah. And then, like I said, a lot of people don't know that, and a lot of people don't realize that reptiles are friendly and they're fun to have. They make wonderful pets, especially ball pythons. Ball pythons are probably the most docile creatures out of all of them.
I'm always scared when I see a ball python because they look scary.
They do. They look very scary.
Yeah. And so what makes them the most docile?
Because a lot of the ones that we have here in the United States are all captive bred. So they've all been handled by a human at one point in time in their life. And that started way, way back in the 1990s. Early 1990s.
Interesting. And so, what's your favorite reptile?
My favorite reptile amongst all reptiles would probably be the reticulated python. The reticulated python is the longest snake in the world. They outgrow anacondas. They don't get as heavy as an anaconda does, but they do outgrow them. The longest living one on record right now is 39 and a half feet long.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's super long.
They get very, very big. They're considered giant snakes. They're not large snakes. They are giant snakes. So an anaconda is considered a giant snake, and then like your large ones would be your Burmese pythons, your boa constrictors, and stuff like that. And then you got your small ones that are like the ball pythons, corn snakes, and your colubrids.
Oh, okay. What is the prettiest snake in your opinion?
I think I would have to go with reticulated pythons there too.
Okay.
Just because of their unique pattern. A lot of them, like my all-time favorite reticulated python is actually the Motley Golden Child. And it's an all-black reticulated python, and when you look at it under light and in the sun, it actually has a rainbow iridescence, kind of like an oil spill does.
Oh.
They're so, so pretty.
That sounds pretty.
It is. It is very pretty. If you get a chance, look up what a Motley Golden Child looks like.
Okay. And so, if we're not talking about snakes, what is your favorite reptile that's not a snake?
Favorite reptile that's not a snake would be a savanna monitor.
And what is that?
A savanna monitor is the smallest species of monitor, very, very, very closely related to the Komodo dragon, just not as venomous as them. They do carry a mild venom in their saliva, but not enough that you would have to go to the hospital or anything. So they actually make great pets. Savanna monitors, you can train them like you can train a dog. They will walk on a leash. They love to be cuddled, believe it or not. I mean, it's going to be a sore cuddle because they've got really, really long razor sharp claws and they've got razor sharp teeth.
Oh. So that's scary.
It is. It's like a toddler with really sharp claws.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That makes sense. I think Bearded dragons are my favorite, obviously, because we have a bearded dragon, and they're just like, if you watch them on like Instagram or on TikTok, they have such a personality.
They do, and like I don't know if you've seen a bunch of them, but they're like bob their heads,
Yeah.
and sometimes that's for dominance. You most likely see that in males trying to, seduce a female.
I didn't know that's what they were doing.
That's how some of them will let the female know that they're interested in them, and the female will do like a little wave with her hand and stuff like that. So
Oh, that's cute.
absolutely, but I just love the little bobblehead. They look like a little bobblehead.
Yeah, and they're much softer than I thought. When you were talking about the other reptile that has like the sharp
Claws.
claws, yeah, they have sharp claws, but like it's I don't know, it's not sharp. It doesn't hurt.
No, it don't. With bearded dragons, they typically, like when they scratch the bark and stuff, they kind of file their own nails down. But occasionally you can like take an emery board and file their nails down, or you can take little fingernail clippers like you would clip a dog's nails, and you can clip them and it won't do no harm to the bearded dragon.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I should know that.
A lot of people, like I do get a lot of questions on what people can do with the claws of a bearded dragon or with the claws of a monitor and everything, and you can clip them down just like you would a baby's nails or anything, just a small little tip off the edge, or like a dog's paws. You can take the little tip off and file it down and make it more rounded than that. But in my personal opinion, I don't do that with any of mine that I have, because in the wild they don't do that, because that's actually how they grab their prey. Because savanna monitors and bearded dragons, along with most bigger lizards like that, they actually can eat rodents, and they do eat rodents.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I feed my bearded dragons one pinky, which is a pinky rat, so like a newborn rat. I feed that once a month just so that they can get the fat and the protein that the bearded dragons need, and the savanna monitors and stuff like that, because especially if your bearded dragon had just laid eggs and became a new mom, you want to give her as much protein and vitamins that you can, and rats produce that.
Ew.
And it's just like with snakes too. A lot of people will feed their snakes mice.
Yeah.
And mice just don't have the fat and protein that rats do. The rats have more fat and protein in them than what mice do. And in my personal and professional opinion, I would rather people feed their snakes rats.
Yeah.
Because it provides more of that vitamins and nutrients that they need. Because if you feed them a mouse only gets so big.
Yeah.
So they're going to end up wanting more. So you're going to spend more money getting more mice, where you can feed the same equivalent to a mouse with a rat.
Where do you buy mice and rats?
Well, there is a local breeder here in Sydney with Rat City. He breeds rats, and right now he's in the process of breeding mice too. So mice is more for like the colubrids, which are like your corn snakes and your king snakes, until they get a certain size. I have 2 adults that eat rats, and I have a sub-adult juvenile corn snake that eats 2 pinky rats every time I feed her.
Oh, that's neat. And how often do you have to feed a snake?
When they're first born, you will feed them once a week. And then as they get older, the bigger meal that they can ingest, the longer you can wait between feedings. So like my ball pythons, I have some of them that I feed once a week. Some of them I feed once every 2 weeks. And then my reticulated python, he'll eat once a week right now because he's trying to put weight back on. But once he gets a larger meal and is able to hold that larger meal, he will only get fed once a month.
Oh, that's really easy.
Yes, snakes are probably the easiest animal to take care of, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to feed them that often.
Right. And you only have to clean out I clean out all of my enclosures once a month. Like I'll do a spot cleaning where I take out, the feces and clean their water bowls. You need to make sure that they do have water every single day, though.
Yeah. That's not bad, though.
No.
That's crazy. I would have never guessed.
It takes me about 2 hours in total to clean out 38 enclosures.
That's a lot of enclosures. And so what kind of reptiles do you have besides snakes?
I have actually 7 different species of snakes. I have leopard geckos, I have bearded dragons, and I have savanna monitors, and plenty more to come.
That's awesome. And so, which one is the worst to take care of?
I wouldn't say necessarily any of them is the worst to take care of. Probably the most high maintenance reptile to take care of would be a chameleon.
Yeah, we were talking about that with
Yes.
Michelle's earlier. Michelle was saying that she had taken care of a chameleon
Yes,
before.
they're very, very high maintenance. You have to make sure that they get misted every so often throughout the day. They need plenty of water. They have to have a minimum of 12 hours of light on them, and their enclosure needs to be at least 70 to 75 degrees at the coldest. And the hottest, probably about 80 to 90 degrees.
That's insane.
It is. For a reptile, it is. But they are very, very high maintenance. They're very beautiful, but they are very high maintenance.
They're so beautiful. It reminds me of a sloth. It's the reptile
Yes,
sloth.
it is. And that I would not recommend as like a first time reptile owner.
Yeah. No, actually, we had been looking at chameleons when we went to the Midwest Exotic Animal Expo, and somebody had said, "Don't get a chameleon if that's your first reptile. Don't do it."
No, in my professional opinion, a first time reptile owner, if you're into snakes, would be a ball python just because of how docile they are. And the lizard, I would go with the bearded dragon.
That's awesome.
I mean, bearded dragons, yes, they're somewhat high maintenance, but they're a lot easier to take care of.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Thank you for being on the show today. I'm super excited that you're here, and I'm super excited that you're going to come back next week and every week after
Absolutely.
that.
I appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, so that was Reptigirl Reptiles, and that was Crystal for Reptigirl Reptiles, and we will be back right after this with BS in the Afternoon on Hits 105.